Hey there, are we live? Computadora. Okay, I think we're live now. Hey there, Dr. Charlie here. Welcome to today and our Charlie chats. Let us take 3 deep breaths together. And there's a lot bubbling up, so maybe buckle your seatbelt while you're doing that. Alright, breathe in. And release. Breathe in. And release. Breathe in. And release. There's been so much happening. And I watched a video of a woman who's a card reader, and she did a reading about what was happening, and that kind of mixed with my own thoughts in the year 2020 and how 2020 is 2-2, that's a 4. It's a really strong foundational year. And so all of that is sort of coalescing in this moment. So, first of all, this is about this current unrest, and I'm going to put that in quotation marks because this is really about identity and identity politics. Who are you? Who are we as a collective? Who are you as an individual? What steps do you take in your life that show that? And the 2020 year, 2 plus 2, so in numerology, to get a number, you're generally moving down to a single digit unless it's 11 or 22, because those have their own significance. So you're generally adding all the digits of something to get to a single digit. So in the case of 2020, in the case of a year, you're just adding all the digits. So that's 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 0. Really, that's 2 plus 2, which is 4. 4 is a solid foundation year. It's like making a square, right? You have four edges, 4 sides, 4 points, 4 corners. That's very stable. That's solid and allows for the creation of stability. It's a solid foundation, essentially. So understand that in order to get something new in a sustainable way, when you've been in a place that has been doing things so unsustainably for such a long time, you have to tear it down. You have to break it down. In this case, maybe not even to its component parts. We might need whole new parts. And this is the time to build the sustainability to move that forward in a real committed way. So what does that mean for you individually? It means that we need you. I've been saying that for years. We need you in your piece of the work. If you haven't figured it out, what gives you passion? What bubbles up in you that you just feel compelled to do kind of all the time, or much of the time, or some of the time, and some of the time, but consistently? So where is the consistency in your own life, in the things that you do, and the way that you show up? Part of my gifts are that I am a synthesizer and a bridge builder. So synthesizing information in a new way, taking information, I've taken a lot of information. I like details, and I pull that together and then often parse that out in a way or a field or an interest where it wasn't before, at least not in my experience. So I'm a synthesizer. I take in the information, find the component parts, find the useful parts, and say, why don't we apply this to this situation over here? And I'm a bridge builder in many ways and many capacities, sometimes across dimensions, sometimes across people, sometimes across groups of people, things where there seems to be division. Sometimes I am the one who comes in and connects those seemingly divided things. So that's part of my work, is synthesizing, bridge building. Your task at this moment is to build a foundation for your work. What do you do? Are you a bringer of joy? Are you a bringer of disruption? Both are needed. Both are necessary. Are you the sandwich maker? Are you the person who watches the babies while people are out marching in protest? Are you in protest? Are you marching in protest? Are you one of the paid agitators who are messing up what are otherwise peaceful protests? And if that's your job, how can you use your agitation in a productive manner? How can you use that to serve instead of to hinder? So that's what we're being asked at our deepest levels. I see my memories come up on Facebook, and I've been talking about this for a number of years. And so go back, see, well, if you're not my Facebook friend, you don't have access to that. But if you see some of the videos that I've been doing over the past couple of years, this message is clear. What we're being called to do is be the fullest, deepest version of ourselves. Now, what that means is you also have to let go of the things that aren't full and deep for you. You have to let go of the identities that no longer serve you. I'm also of the Shapeshifter clan, and as a shapeshifter, that means that I've constantly had to transform myself. I've constantly had to shed skin. And what that looked like in my 20s and the early part of my 30s was that I moved a lot, and I had to transform into the new area or into the new expectations or whatever it was. I moved and figured out and adapted. I moved and figured out how to do it and adapt. When I went to therapy several years ago, and we know that I'm a very strong advocate of therapy, of good therapy. One of the things my therapist did with me was, with permission, with full permission, of course, she pushed me. So she physically moved me, and her instruction was to reset myself. And so at first, I would reset in the new space wherever she had pushed me. Eventually, you're going to hit a wall, right? We were in a closed room. So eventually, you're going to hit something where you can't reset anymore. And so I understood that part of my adaptation had been less than full for me. It had been in such a way that I was adapting to new circumstances without claiming my space. This is the time to claim your space. Oh, pardon me. Often I've just eaten, and so my food is digesting when I'm doing these videos. So your part is to claim your space. What the second part of that activity looked like, she said, no, you come back to the middle of the room and reclaim your space, because that is your space, not the new space you have been given. And it was kind of like the polite version of resetting. So she pushed me again, and no matter how far off kilter she may have moved me, it was my job to come back to the center of the room and hold my space and claim my space. This is the year to claim your space. Now, so understand that numbers are cyclical, right? So they're always going to be 0 through 9, well, 1 through 9 in this case. So a 4-year is foundational. The 5 helps to build on that foundation, to say, oh, we're putting feelers out in the world to see what we want this foundation to do. What do we want the house to look like? What do we want the building, the structure to look like now that we have this solid foundation? And so with what I call this unrest, and I'm not being glib here. It is unrest, but it is also the way forward. The way forward is to rebuild a completely new foundation. Shout out to the local and state leaders who are really aiming toward a kind of progress that they've maybe never seen or experienced before, because national leadership is obviously not intact, and so people are having to lead from a much more local level, whatever that means to them. And I encourage you to take that personally. What does that mean for you? What does it mean for you to lead from a more local place? And that local place is always going to be you. How can you lead from your deepest, best parts? We need your genius. I assure you, you have genius. You have something to give that no one else can give, and that is your job. To figure out what it looks like on the foundational level. Put your stakes in. Put your stakes in your ground. This is the space you are claiming. This is the thing you are doing. And I do caution you to not let that take over the entirety of your identity. This is a piece of what you do. Being a synthesizer is a piece of what I do. Being a bridge builder is a piece of what I do. And I'm putting those into my foundation. This 2020 is a great year for foundation building. And because things were working so poorly for so long, we have to take the whole structure out and really create a new foundation. So what do you want your new foundation to be? What do you want it to be built on? What levels of integrity? What levels of genius? What levels of collaboration? What levels of integration do you want your new solid four-pointed foundation? What do you want that to be standing on? Oh, that was a lot. Let's breathe that in. Breathing absolutely helps to integrate. Pretend you have a giant straw running through your body and just breathe in through that straw. Breathe up from the ground through the straw. Out the top of your head. Breathe down from the top of your head into the ground. Let's do one more full set. Breathe up from the ground. Out the top of your head. Slow it down a little bit. Breathe down from the top of your head, through your straw, and into the ground. Okay, so we need you to build your individual foundation and connect that into the collective, collaborative, integrated foundation. Okay, y'all, it's on you now. What are you going to do? I'm Dr. Charlie. Until we meet again, take great care.